Hello, everybody. This today is Thursday, January 9th, 2025. It's about 10:40 a.m. in the morning, and we're doing a video about the fires that are going on in Los Angeles out here in California. I felt like it was important that I get on here and talk about the fires, give a little truth to the matter. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the LA fires, and a lot of people making assumptions that don't live in California, don't even live in the Southland, is what we call it. We call it the Southland. People who don't even live in the Southland making all these statements about the California wildfires. So I'm going to give some truth to the matter, give you some facts, and leave it there. Now, again, when it comes to fires, and in Southern California, this is not unfortunately, this is not a new experience. We experience wildfires in Southern California probably every 6 months. Because I think 6 months we had the Highland fires, and we had the Santa Ana fires, or it wasn't Santa Ana. I can't remember what it was called. But we had fires everywhere, just in August and September. So not even 6 months ago. So we were always in fire season. Like people say, well, it's fire season in California. Well, that's always. So there's a couple things I want to share with you, give some updates, give you some truth of what's going on in the fires. If you were refusing to go to the news, or just get your information from TikTok, might as well just tell you what's really going on right here. First of all, we are experiencing probably one of the most devastating fires in Southern California history. And being in Southern California, I've been involved in some very hairball or some crazy fires. We've had some crazy fires in the past, but this is the biggest one because most of the time our fires affect wildland, or they affect the mountains, or places where there's not a lot of people living. But this fire, and is actually hits LA, is very personal because this is affecting people's houses. And so here's the facts that we have so far today. Now, again, I'm in California. I'm in Southern California. I am in the Inland Empire. The Inland Empire is about where I live. Where I live, I'm on the west side of the Inland Empire, and I'm close to I'm about 40 miles from the fires. If you go towards the edge of where the Inland Empire and LA County meet, was we're neighbors, you see the smoke and you can smell the fire. And as a matter of fact, there's parts of that section that's under red alert right now, meaning that they need to be careful and be mindful. And there's some stages out here where we've lost power too, but we've lost power not because of the fire, but because of the Santa Ana winds. So those Santa Ana winds is one of the reasons why the fire is so huge as what it is, because the winds combined with the fires is what makes it really dangerous for us in California. We have what it's called Santa Ana winds, and their wind that gust up to 45 to 50 miles per hour. When those gusts get to that point and they get heavy and a fire starts, it pushes an ember, whatever they call them. It pushes them, and it's unpredictable at that point, and it can land to another roof of another house and catch on fire. Now imagine that can spread out 40, 50 miles. So now imagine if you increase the Santa Ana winds from 50 to 70. Well, that can get even further, and it becomes problematic. Now, and then you get what's been happening, because a lot of people who don't live in California are like, this is arson, and some other conspiracy theorists think it's arson. But you get a wind that knocks down a power line, and that power line goes up in flames, which is what's happening, because we've had to be mindful, even in my city, that we've had some power lines go down, and we've had communities been without power since Tuesday night. So Tuesday night we haven't had power in some areas. My area is okay, but there's been areas that haven't had power since Tuesday night. Some areas got their power back yesterday afternoon. Others are still trying to get theirs going. So imagine now the wind that we've had, it's kind of dulled down a little bit today, Thursday, but Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we had wind gusts up to 98 miles per hour. 98, which is unprecedented. We haven't had it that hard. it's almost California's version of a tornado is what it's been. It's and trees have come down. There's been houses that have been demolished just from the wind alone. Not even talking about the fires. This is just the wind alone. We've had houses go down. I saw a few houses. Unfortunately, in the midst of all this, we had a funeral that we had to attend. So I went to the funeral, and just on the way to see houses destroyed just from the wind. And we'll get to the insurance about that in just 1 minute because there's some other things that I want to get some pushbacks from what I've been hearing on TikTok about California's insurance issue. All right. So here's the fact. So that's the first part of it. Okay. That makes you combine 98 miles per hour winds with fire. We got problems. That's why these fires are popping up all over the South Coast or the Southland. So here's what we know about the California wildfires right now. We have fierce wildfires burning out of control in the greater Los Angeles area and have killed at least 5 people and forced nearly 180,000 people from their homes. So 180,000 people have lost their homes, have left their homes. Authorities said that the total number of deaths from the fires are unknown at this time. So there's 5 known, and there could be more. Now, the other thing, at least 5 fires. 5. We're not 5. They've been saying 4. I've been counting 5, and we've finally got a confirmation there are 5 fires now. At least 5 fires are burning, covering more than 45 square miles, sparked by the dry condition and the powerful winds, causing unprecedented scenes in areas not known for fires. Like I said before, most of the time our fires are in the mountain ranges area or in the desert area. So there's a way to, there's systems that our firefighters combat it. When it gets down to residentials, and it's not just a house on fire, but a whole neighborhood. That's when it gets kind of problematic for our firefighters, because now there's casualties involved, there's people involved, there's buildings, there's evacuations, and in the Southland, evacuations are really hard to do, considering that you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in just a small 40-mile radius. Actually, in some areas, for 40-mile radius, you're talking about millions of people in Southern California. The Palisades Fire, which is the biggest one out of the 5 fires right now, has burned through more than 17,234 acres, almost 27 square miles. It has destroyed 1,000 structures, and it's entirely uncontained. That's important to know. Californians understand the term contained. When it comes to fires, they tell us how well our firefighter is doing by the word contained, but it's entirely uncontained, making it the most destructive in LA history. And contained means they one of the ways that our firefighters fight fires is they do a control line to circle and encamp the fire, and that keeps the fire in one place, and then they with a lot of strategy and the water, they can help the fire burn itself out. So it's a lot of starting control fires, but they got to get the fire contained in one certain location where they'll encamp it with another fire to give it, to kind of choke it out. They're choking the fire out. So that's what containment means. So then we'll hear, for example, let's just use Palisades. They'll tell us the Palisades fire is 10% contained. That means they've got 10% of that containment done. Once they get to 100% contained, that means they're in the place where they're trying to choke the fire out. Now, what we understand also in California, contained or fully contained does not mean safe. It still means that there's still a fire there. Containment doesn't mean that the fire is put out. It just means that they've got a control over it, and they've got it contained to the point where they can now do the process of choking it out. But up until that point, the fire is uncontrollable and it could go anywhere. So as of today, this fire has been raging for over 40 hours and it's 0% contained. That's I don't know if it's 40 hours, but it's been a full day and it's entirely uncontained, meaning that they don't have a control over this fire yet. Okay. So that's that. And for it to be the most deadly fire in LA history and not be contained after a whole day, that's scary. Okay. The newest fire is called the Sunset Fire. We name our fires so we know kind of like where they are. The latest blaze, the Sunset Fire, started shortly before 6 p.m. yesterday in the Hollywood Hills and has grown to 60 acres while threatening iconic landmarks, including the Hollywood sign. Did you know that? That's crazy. Um, that's nuts. More than 350,000 energy customers were without power earlier today, including 200,000 in LA County, the most populous county in the country. Now, LA County is the most populous country in America. San Bernardino County, which is where I live, is the largest county in America. So we have the most populous and the most largest by region. So, and out of those two, and it's mostly those two, 350,000 energy people haven't had energy. So including my friend's job, like schools, my kids couldn't go to school yesterday. So it's pretty big. That is mostly in part to the winds, which have died down a little bit today. They're not up in the 90s like they were last night or yesterday. They've died down a lot in the San Bernardino County. LA County we still have wind impact for a little bit. We probably have another couple more hours of high winds. They said we should have a break tomorrow, and hopefully that break tomorrow we can get some planes in the air. That's the other thing. We can't get planes in the air to put out these fires like we normally do because of the high winds. It's just dangerous for our planes to be up there. So which contributes to the water issue, which I'll get to in a second. So with that being said, we have no power. There's a lot of us with no power, but for the most part, a lot of us are okay. The intense Santa Ana winds have eased compared to the last 2 days, which I just mentioned, but wind gusts are still forecast to be in the 40 to 50s today and 50, 70 tonight and then tomorrow morning. So hopefully we can ease up on the wind. If the wind eases up, and just pray that the wind eases up, then we can really make some hits on this fire. Now, a couple things I want to share with you. There's two things I want to share with you, and I feel like that's why I wanted to do this podcast, so you can understand what the issue is with the water and the insurance. Water is they've been using, because we can't get in the air because of the high winds. We can't get in the air, and that's how we always combat our fires. We get in the air, we get those planes, and they drop the it's not water, but it's like a water. What is it? What is it that we're dropping on them? But it's a water, it's a retardant, it's a fire retardant. And we drop that on there, we pick it up and we go in there and we dump it in there, just like the rest of the country. Now, fire hydrants, okay? Fire hydrants are not built to take on wildfires. Fire hydrants, okay, are built to, if there's a house in the neighborhood on fire, there's enough water in those hydrants to take out that fire. If there's 2-3 houses on your block, the fire hydrant should have enough water and pressure to take out those. Now, in that LA area, it is still like a bad system. It's a bad structure. And it's an old structure that's never been processed or even changed in any way, shape, and form. But in the Palisades area and the Dina fire, we have basically 4 tanks to cover all that. Those tanks are not going to cover a wildfire. Those tanks will cover maybe 50 to 100 houses being on fire, but not thousands. And so when they said that we don't have water, we ran out of water in our tanks because our tanks, just like your tanks, are not built to take out wildfires. Okay. That hydrants are not built to take out wildfires. Hydrants are built to take out your house. If the house is on fire, if the building's on fire, that's what our tanks would have done that, but our tanks don't have enough water and it's pulling from all these different places. Now imagine all the fire hydrants being used at once to take out a fire that's destroying acres and it's uncontained and it's taking out thousands of houses. With that being said, you're going to run out of pressure. And that's what happened. We ran out of pressure, especially in the hills area. The pressure wasn't even getting to those. So that's why there's some hydrants that weren't even giving anything, because we were using all these hydrants. Now, again, it's not the perfect structure. It should have been dealt with years ago, but this is the system. And it was like one of those things where this kind of situation, I remember being in Portland, Oregon, and one year, and they had this storm, this snowstorm that they were never really prepared for. And so the whole city shut down, and it kind of made the city go, wow, we're really not prepared if we have a huge snowstorm. This is one of those things where and it shows the facetiousness of Californians, because it's like we knew this could be a problem if it ever got to that point. And we knew, even some fire chiefs have said, listen, all it takes is one amber to get over here with the Santa Ana winds and the fires being how we deal with them. If it gets to a certain place, we are done for. And unfortunately, that has happened. Okay. So we didn't have no water. Okay. I know we're being in a drought, but our tanks did have water in them. Our tanks are not built to take on this fire. The best way to take on the fire is to contain the fire, choke the fire out, get and attack it from the air. We can't get in the air. Okay. I heard today in the news that they're going to start getting planes up in the air, because 40 miles per hour, I think our planes can take it. We can't take 90. We just can't get up there. The other side of it, yes, this is why I do think our cities and our governor needs to kind of take it in the face for this one. The cutbacks to the fire departments have been hurtful. I don't know if that's actual fact what we've been seeing on social media, but they're saying that up to $17 million in financial cuts. I will say this though, I have several friends who have been waiting for years for them to get started in the firefighting in all of Southern California. So the hiring for Southern California firefighters has gone down tremendously in the last few years. Again, that could be a systematic problem. All of our problems have been systematic. Let's just say that. So because of that, we don't have enough firefighters to fight these fires, right? So LA County is pulling on help from Riverside County. I have very close friends that are actually board members of our business that work for the county. So they're extremely busy right now. They're sending firefighters out there. San Bernardino sending county, San Diego County sending people up, Orange County is sending people up. But at the same time, yes, that is an accurate statement to say that we don't have enough firefighters to combat these fires, due to they never thought they needed it. You see that? Yeah, we were kind of prideful, thinking we got this thing under control. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen to us. And then here we are, stuff is happening to us. Let's talk about the insurance real quick. The insurance is problematic. It's real. It's a real situation, but this has been happening for years. So again, some TikTokers are saying they canceled our insurance. The Californians canceled their insurance last week. That's not what happened. They didn't cancel our insurance last week. Some people were getting canceled years ago. I, for one, our fire insurance canceled 2021, 22. So for the longest time, insurance companies have been leaving California because, one, they've been saying stuff like, some of us been living in areas that are considered dangerous. Trees falling down on cars and winds in California is uninsurable. They say it's an act of God, and so they don't cover those. And for a lot of us that live in LA or adjacent, like we are uninsurable because of fires, because we're always in a wild burn area. So because of that, State Farm and several other, and I'm using State Farm for an example because State Farm has been one of the big players that have pulled out of California because we are uninsurable in their mind. So this isn't just happening Christmas week or the first week of the year and then we didn't have no insurance. This has been a problem for Californians for a very long time. We've been battling this with insurance. I've been very vocal about why would we pay for insurance that don't cover stuff that happens, right? Why would we pay for insurance? And it's weird because of the new, and that's not even new. Let me see if I can find it. I have a note that I wanted to read this, make sure I have it. I put it on my phone. Okay. So basically, no one wants to insure homes in wildland urban interface zones, and that's us. But here's the thing. California has what is called the FAIR Plan. And the FAIR Plan is been out here since the 60s, late 70s, early 70s. And it's stupid what the FAIR Plan don't cover. And again, it's one of those things that's systematically problematic. The FAIR Plan does not cover, for example, theft, falling objects, freezing, water damage, personal liability. Why am I having these insurances? Why do we have to have a homeowner insurance if it doesn't cover anything? Basically, what the homeowner insurance covers, it covers the mortgage, but it doesn't replay, right? So this is not a new thing that just happens. That's the point I'm trying to make. This isn't a new thing that just happened. We've been losing our insurance for like the last 4 or 5 years. Now, yes, I know the next question that comes up, and I'm receiving the comments. Well, I live there. I mean, a lot of us love where we live. We love California. Sometimes California doesn't do right by us. Personally, I've been on the show very, very vocal about my feelings towards our governor, Gavin Newsom. And, you know, we've gone through different situations where we try to get him out and he hasn't left. He's got his claws in the north. So the North California, Redding and San Francisco, they love that dude. They love that dude and they die for him. Well, now we're seeing the effects of having bad leadership. And and I'm not on the side of Trump going off on him. I don't care politically. I just want my home to be safe. And I want us to be able to do things. But yes, structurally speaking, we should have seen this coming and we should have made the decisions, but we didn't. That's on leadership. That's on all of us as a community. That's for all of us for being so obnoxious to think that nothing like this would happen. And now here we are. People are losing their houses. Hollywood is getting attacked. This is crazy. And our governor he's doing what most governors do. I'm going to show up and I'm going to talk about it. Well, this could have been avoided. I feel like it could have. Some things couldn't be. Like I said, our water, even if our tanks were completely full, and I haven't gotten a report on how full our tanks were before, but even if they're fully full, we still will run out. Because, again, those hydrants are not built for wildfires. Those hydrants are built for on-spot fire takeout. So we're doing our part. We're hanging in there. Pray for California. For those Christians that are saying that California is under judgment of God, go read your Bible and go bother somebody else. You know, just don't make it about you. But other than that, let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments and pray for California. We need it. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. God bless.